All right, everyone. Welcome to Prop Time Live, the official podcast and stream. This is episode 2. Now that I got video, we got logos, we got pads of paper, we got monitors, we got Surface tablets. So hopefully I'm all good to go and there's no lag time really as we do this. And we're also simulcast going on YouTube. That's right. And we're also high definition in 180p. Earlier today we were 720p, so we upped the ante, and we're not doing 4K. We're not. This is as good as you're gonna get. You can see a projector screen that's not projecting behind me. We got some work to do here, but Anyway, so one thing I'll just bring off the top. I was given a $25. I know, but one thing we do here is gamble responsibly. Spoke about this yesterday a little bit. Circa Survivor and some other Survivor pools are. I think, again, don't quote me on Circa being done. I didn't check myself, but a lot of Survivor pools are literally just over. Like they've already crowned the winner. So it's been a tough NFL year, and sports books are kind of alluding that November, December could be some pretty dry months as far as volume, and obviously the playoffs and then the Super Bowl, there's no volume problems there, but and that's because most typical players wash out between week 6 and week 8, and it could be even sooner this year. And that's one of the reasons, if you watch the first video list episode that I'm doing this, is to just you add some props to your portfolio, you spend some pizza money on them instead of putting $50 on a same game parlay where you're getting the worst odds in the world. Trust me, those are terrible odds, because the same game parlays are correlated, and most of these correlated parlays should be, if you had minus 110 on each side, plus 260, and they'll give you plus 160 something. I mean, it's just they're stealing from you. The house always wins, except sports betting. There's a couple 1% that can actually win. I don't know how many there are like me who break even. Maybe a tiny bit, but yeah. Anyway, so the $25 free roll, I don't know what to do with it. So if any of you guys have any suggestions at all, please at Prop Time Live on Twitter. After I post this, I'll link it and let me know what you think I should spend that $25 free roll on. It was a local. So I didn't even really expect this. So he just hit me up. I completely forgot I had this out. Just amazing to get another out. So I see the stream lagging a little bit. I hope it picks up steam relatively soon. I'm not sure what's really causing the lag. Probably having 3 million different devices on. Let's see if we just get one off. So we'll go a little slower. Maybe not. Yeah, let's just take it off. We were doing well, folks. We were rolling. We were rolling for a minute. All right. Looks like nope. Spoke too soon. All right. Well, you're gonna have to listen to my voice and part of my face, and it's gonna look like one of those shows on Netflix where they're speaking overdubbed English, and it's not matching up with the mouth and the reading of the lips. Anyway, so here we go. Before we start, badge of honor for every prop better happened to me last night. Banned for severely limited to $10 from a Canby book. Like I said, I'm surprised they let me play that long. I mean, a good portion of it was that I never played them for more than $25 a prop, specifically because I just wanted it as like a tack on. So maybe I better prop elsewhere, and then I can tack on a little bit. So I can play a full unit, maybe like a better price somewhere. where like 80% is on one thing, and or I'm sorry, 75%, like 75% is at other books, and part of it's at Canby Books. Just to get a little favorable price for what I'm going to put down. But if I do the full amount, I'm going to get limited. So they had banned me. I didn't really do anything. Fanatics, like when it was Fanatics who did it, they told me that the trading team was going to contact me. They told me that a bunch of people were going to contact me, risk management, the overall department, just a lot of people. And then they came back and said that they don't send emails anymore. That was literally what Fanatics said. They said, we can't get the trading team to speak with you because we don't send emails. That was, so after that, I don't go, I don't make a stink. I actually withdrew some money because normally when you withdraw, it's like a flag to the books, but you just limited me. What the fuck do I care? So there was that. But I do want to look at what we have pending going on here so far. The big prop that we had for today, that was a prop drop, an official selection that was put out days ago, was for tight end Theo Johnson. And we're just going to pull him up here for a second. This is the only part because I had to slow this down so that the stream worked and went faster. But we'll see what we got here. We placed that bet at bet 105. We got it at under 1.5 plus 125. Bet 105's current line is plus 111. So some small value there with at that price. Let's see what other books are floating around. Bet 105 is a sharper book. Maybe there's some better prices for you guys. Although you won't find better prices besides in totals than with that reduced juice. But let's see where we went with Mr. Theo Johnson here in his receptions. Theo Johnson, the unders, we have bet online under 1.5 minus 103. That would just be prop builder, DraftKings under 1.5 plus 105. So we got a good value from them. FanDuel's plus 106. Caesars plus 108. BetMGM down to minus 105. They were up earlier, and Pinnacle's plus 110. So I'm not even going to read Canby Books prices. Fanatics doesn't have a lineup. So yeah, it looks like you got some good value there. Value doesn't always equal wins, but we want to get value in a numerical sense. I know I've been talking about a lot about numbers and projections, and what our projection is versus what the line is and what the implied probability is, and then we run these simulations and see what the median outcome is, or how the distribution looks and standard. I do a whole bunch of stuff that will just bore you to sleep, but there is an empirical part of it that's not all numbers based, and part of that we're going to get into very shortly with the completion props. The one other thing I wanted to mention as a prop we had pending, just because I placed this at bet 105 as well, and that was Daniel Jones over 0.5 interceptions at bet 105. Like I said, at minus 121. The current line there is minus 125. I don't know if there's gonna. Do I have interceptions? I have defense interceptions thrown I do. DraftKings minus 145. Caesars minus 133. BetMGM minus 135. Bookmaker very sharp minus 130. And Pinnacle minus 125. Guess I need a light bulb too, or my light is turned into a strobe light. So really, like from what I'm looking at, that 105 still has the best price at minus 125. So if you think Daniel Jones is going to throw a pick against a team that absolutely fucking owns him, he absolutely stinks. This is coming from a diehard Giants fan. He is the worst. He was like the lowest graded quarterback I could ever think of coming out of college. Comes from a basketball school. He was barely okay. Like David Cutcliffe knew the Mannings, and all of a sudden people are laughing at the draft when we take him 6 overall. The coach we fired had him pegged as a 6-rounder. Just terrible. Injured, sucks. There's one good year where he managed to play most of the games and win a playoff game against 2 years ago's Vikings, who did not have a good defense. So, like, they're going to get killed. It's what's going to happen. I accept it, but that's why I'm not afraid. I mean, Daniel Jones is going to throw a pick. These guys own him, and Michael Parsons and all those cats coming off. He just turtles. He can run a little bit, but like if they're in any sort of contain, he can't get out of that. He just turtles. It goes down because he doesn't want to hurt his neck. Realistically, he should be benched after I think it's week 12, so we don't have to fucking get stuck on the hook for any further guaranteed money. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get into the completion props. I had 2 that I picked out earlier, right after I did that test live screen, just so we would have these to talk about. I don't know. I hope we'll see if the lines have moved. One of them is going to shock you where we're going with this. But and this is the part where I'm not only going to get into the projections, but sort of the empirical theory behind it. So let us just find here our first one. And okay, so yeah, this is kind of actually decreased. Wow. Down. Okay. All right. So yeah, what we're looking at is Patrick Mahomes. That's right, Mahomes. That Patrick Mahomes, not Jackson Mahomes, not Taylor Swift, not fucking Kadarius Toney, if he's still around. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, the man who is 3-0, who is going and playing the Chargers, who he owns, and not owns, but it's done particularly well against. And so our projection is 22.96 completions. And again, remember that's under 24.5. So if we were to actually price that out, we would price it at minus 168. Canby, unfortunately, is the best I'm seeing on this particular odd screen. Under 24.5, minus 115. Prop builder's not bad. They're under 24.5, minus 123. DraftKings, they're over at minus 135. Yeah, FanDuel's their prop line is 23.5 versus the 24.5 we've been talking about. Well, I guess. Yeah, no. All right. Yeah. BetMGM's minus 125. That's not terrible. And Pinnacle's minus 117. I mean, that's really not far off from Bet River. So if you can bet Pinnacle from where you are, and you want to put a little more coin than some pizza, that might be a place for you to look. Let me see what Bet 105 has. and I'll run through well, no, I won't run through all the games, but just pick a game. If you want to help me spend that free roll, let me know and comment on the X, or the formerly Twitter. And we can go from there. All right, so we got to find the Chiefs here real quick. Chiefs. Everyone hates Patrick Mahomes. And also, like, Bet 105 doesn't have any player props up on that yet. I'm sure they are coming. All right, so yeah, here's some empirical theory behind the Backstar 22.96 completion projections. If he wasn't ruled out already, Justin Herbert is likely not playing for the Chargers. So what that means as far as game script is that, I don't think they'll throw. I shouldn't say they won't throw as much, but they're not going to get into a shootout. Like Herbert with the Chargers and Mahomes, they can get into a shootout. But I'm not going to say they're going to throw less necessarily with Easton, but yeah. Also, the Chiefs could easily be 0-3 if you look at the scores of all their games and how penalties have decided one or all, depending on who you are and how you view that subjectively. I think you have a valid argument at any end of the spectrum. And so you got 3-0 that could be possibly 0-3. They're playing the Chargers. They're missing Herbert. They're on a downward trend. I see the Chiefs sleepwalking through the game or part of the game. Also, Mahomes has an interception in every game. So every turnover, that's going to take, obviously, like more time of possession away from them. And in one game, he had 2 interceptions. So he's throwing an INT in every single game. And like I said, these games with the Chiefs have been pretty close. I think the biggest margin of victory for them this year was the 7 points when they beat the Ravens 27-20. And you had that Isaiah Likely, I believe it was him, the guy that caught it in the back of the end zone, that little controversy. So, if he's not on field, because of turnovers, and they already take a lead, or they're sleepwalking, maybe they run the ball more. Or if they do get a big lead, they run the ball more. And I mean, I don't think they'll ever sub Mahomes out unless they're up like $1-0 But them running more, if they're running the clock, I just think this is a game where Mahomes is sleepwalking. He's been prone to turnovers, which takes him off the field, and kind of just blunts the offense and the offensive momentum, and it can lead to point switches on the other end. And they may run the ball more if they do get out to a big lead. We're looking at total completions for the game, not the first half. So, if they do get out to a slow start, yeah, sure, you can make it up in the second, but it's less likely. So that's why we like Mahomes. And it's crazy. And you're all going to call me a fucking nut job, but it's there, and we like it. The other quarterback I want to talk about with completions is a man by the name of Gardner Minshew. Let me just run this here real quick. So Gardner Minshew, his line is under 19.5 completions. The best lines, I mean, they're all pretty similar. I'm seeing Bet MGM is probably the worst at -120. Everyone else seems to, DraftKings is worse than that. They're -125. So everybody seems to be, sort of around the same. There's no outliers. There's no one on an island anywhere with that. Now, let me just check one more price. Bet 105. Let's see what they got, because they have had the best prices on some of these props. And it's always nice to have another out. So what do they have? They have Gardner Minshew under 19.5 minus 115. Yeah, that's the same as Caesars. So at that, we would, that's a nice edge because we have this at minus 179 versus the minus 115 at that 105 and Caesars. So if you're interested in that prop, again, bet 105 and Caesars both rolling the minus 115 on the under 19.5 completions for Gardner Minshew. The empirical stuff with Mr. Minshew, to be honest, he has been lining up with completions, with the exception of one game he had 18, but the other had 30, and the next one he had 33. That is very much not consistent with prior years, although some of that may have to do with playing time. Minshew's been there since the offseason this year, and I think a lot of this points to them scheming around him because he has been throwing the ball, so he's not been a game manager. Like, if you're completing 30 passes, 33 passes, like, you're not being game manager, you're being quarterback. But just for someone like him, at some point, like we've seen his career sample size, there's going to be a regression to the mean. And I think we see that here. I also understand that the man that I just said is probably the worst quarterback to ever walk the field in the NFL, Daniel Jones, just lit up Cleveland's defense in that game. I think a lot of that was a breakout game for Malik Neighbors. Cleveland D is not playing as well as they were last year, that's for sure. But, I don't know how many duds a defense like that can lay. And with a regression to the mean on Minshew and, having just given a little credence to the fact that, like, a great defense from a year ago, it just can't totally go to shit. That's almost got to regress back to the mean as well. And I think that creates sort of a perfect storm here for Minshew to have the under 19.5 completions again. Best prices on that, technically, Rivers can be, which I'm not banned from, severely limited at. They're minus 113. And the next best prices were Caesars, 19.5 minus 115. That was the same price at 105. All right. So we are going to move into our final portion of this, which is this prop could be offered somewhere. Okay. I'm just like being clear cut with you guys. I have no idea. I didn't scour every sports book to try and find this. So I don't think there's a prop in there, but it seems to be a debate going on. I've seen enough articles about it that are questioning whether or not Derek Rose will make the Hall of Fame. If anybody is competent and is voting on that and is not routinely in a straitjacket, is going to say no. This is a player who averaged in his NBA career 17.4 points. Didn't even get 20 points a game, right? All right. Maybe he's a great assist guy. He's a pure point guard, likes to dish the rock instead. 5.2 assists per game in his career. Not bad, not Hall of Fame. Sorry, just isn't Hall of Fame. Even like the shittiest metrics. Like I'm trying to clean up the language here. I know it's not great, but he only made 3 All-Star games. And I know that's kind of like a meaningless metric because like everyone makes the All-Star, but that's what I'm saying. Like every single, like, you got people that are in, they want to sit out. You got, then you got alternates or whatever they call them, or the fan votes. Like, and with all that, you made 3. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame and 3 times they thought you were an All-Star. This whole thing is because he has one MVP from his third year in the season or in the league. That's what he's getting a lot of this weight for. I'm sorry, a one-time MVP who averaged 17 points a game and 5 assists. You only made 3 All-Star games. I don't know if you have any Olympic gold at all that I don't know. And you had someone take your SATs for you. So you're not going to the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, Derek Rose. But we are going to put a line up on that anyway at Prop Time Live. We don't actually take wagers. That should just be a disclaimer. Not a sports book. We don't do any of that. But we're just going to make a hypothetical prop. So like regulators, or not that there's any regulators watching, but if it says it's circulated somewhere, somehow, some way, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. But so I started this at no minus 320, yes plus 270. I'm convinced it's higher now. So I'm gonna place that really cool in the 500s. I'm gonna go minus 550 for the no, and I'll even give 475 on the yes, so plus 475 on the yes. That comes from nowhere, but my brain just randomly deciding numbers that it thinks are just because I've got this list of Super Bowl prop bets, and I kind of see like the or common Super Bowl prop bets, how they've done over the years historically, and just I noticed in the Super Bowl, but just looking at some of the no's, because there's a lot of yes, no, and it's always better, by the way. And this was Super Bowl props, and something that's it's actually a nice piece of advice. It really is. It applies. I hope you take this way on some proposition weight. And I'm not talking over on. I'm literally talking about the yes, no. Like you may like, will there be a safety in the Super Bowl type thing, right? So it's always better to bet against something happening. Right. So it's always these no bets are all it's when, all the things equal, right? All the things equal. It's always better to bet no for something to happen, because the probability that it doesn't happen most of the time is going to be greater, unless it's like, is the sun going to come up today? Like on what's predicted to be a sunny day, even weather sucks. So I can't use that as a horrible description. Let's just wash our hands of that right now. But let's say, will the sun come up eventually at some point, even if it's not in cloud cover? Yeah. Like we know these things, but unless it's something like that, there's no locks. Anyone says there's locks is full of shit. So it's better to bet no. As a general rule, anyone who disagrees with me on that, I will die on a hill, unless you show me some very strong data-driven analysis that I'm wrong. At that point, you can literally come and throw an egg in my face if you want to. I will sit here and just get held with a singular egg right in the dome piece, not with the Yankee hat on. It's too sacred. So yeah, we're going yes, no. Will Derek Rose be inducted into the Hall of Fame? Yes, plus 475. No, minus 550. That's where we're at with that. If you want to hop on Twitter, that's at Prop Time Live. Let me know if you have your own projection as to those odds. If you see an actual prop that's offered, or that book that's actually offering a prop like that, let me know what the actual odds are. Just be curious, and maybe some of the other listeners and viewers will be too. And that's about all I have for today. I think there was a Singletary rushing prop I had somewhere. I didn't write it down, and it's just coming to me like just off the top of my head. But I don't have it here, so if it is, it's on Twitter most likely. I don't think it was one that was private. Again, I make 2 times, not 3 times more bets a day than I give out. So, but they're all mostly props. Yeah. So I'll recap the baseball ones I did yesterday, maybe tomorrow. and we'll talk about the Jaden prop, the Miami receiver. This is how much numbers is. I don't even remember this guy's full name, just full projection. Unlike the NFL, because I actually watch the games, I get a little bit of the U. But anyway, and the free roll, Twitter, comment, who should I bet? What should I bet? I got $25 free roll. Help me spend it at Prop Time Live on Twitter. Let me know. And I hope you all have a great night. I hope all of you understand that you can go to bed early tonight because the Cowboys have that. Again, I said there's no lock, but they're basically like calling a locksmith at this point. So, you probably get to go to bed early tonight, wake up, then it's Friday. It's going to be great. Good luck with your wagers. For everyone here at Prop Time Live, which is solely myself, Johnny Elias saying so long.